What is up, guys? It is Keggernaut, but just please call me Kegg, and today is going to be the Brewmaster artifact weapon video. This is the three-part little series that I had done showcasing my thoughts and my opinions on the best way to spend your artifact power as you're leveling up through Legion on your artifact weapon. Now, before we do anything, let's just go and head on over to the artifact weapon calculator. Here we go. This is the Brewmaster artifact weapon talent tree. Now here it is, it's all maxed out, fully upgraded, that's what it looks like, and I also included the relics that I want you guys to use. I made sure to remember this time. And let's start off by resetting and then grabbing Exploding Keg. That's going to be your artifact ability. It's a 1.25 minute cooldown, and what it does is it hurls a flaming keg at the target location, dealing 1000% of attack power as fire damage to nearby enemies and causing them to miss their melee attacks for the next 3 seconds. Next we have to grab Full Keg, which will increase the damage dealt by Keg Smash by 10%, which will give us access to the rest of the tree. Now, this one's a little bit different. The Brewmaster is a little bit different than the other two videos that I've already done on artifact weapons. Last time, I told you guys that Golden Dragons are the most important thing to get because they change your gameplay dramatically. Well, with the Brewmaster, that is the opposite case. The Brewmaster Golden Dragons are so underwhelming that it's honestly much better to invest your artifact points into the minor traits than it is to grab the Golden Dragons. So let's just read off the Golden Dragons now so I can tell you guys what they're about. The first one here on the left is called Dragonfire Brew. After using Breath of Fire, you breathe fire 2 additional times, each dealing 70% of attack power as fire damage. This is extremely, it's okay just for a damage one, but this would be alright to include if these other two were more defensive and they were better, than what they are right now. Dragonfire Brew, really, you only take it if you want more DPS. That's literally it. It's just DPS. The next one at the bottom is Brew Stash. Activating Purifying Brew or Iron Skin Brew grants you 10% dodge for 1.5 seconds. Now, this is kind of cool. Purifying Brew and Iron Skin Brew are something that you guys are going to use a lot. That's your active mitigation. The only problem that I have with this is that it grants you 10% dodge for only 1.5 seconds. That's literally one boss swing. So every time that you chug a Purifying Brew or an Iron Skin Brew, you only get 10% dodge for one hit. And it might not even work, so it's not even reliable all the time. I know you already have a lot of dodge because that's what the Brewmaster is. It's the dodgy type of tank. But 10% dodge for one boss swing and you're making that an entire Golden Dragon doesn't seem very exciting. And then the final one is called Fortification. Activating Fortifying Brew grants you 25% dodge for 21 seconds. My gripe with this Golden Dragon is that Fortifying Brew has always been probably the most powerful defensive cooldown that any tank has ever had. Because if you press that, it's literally you just go God mode and you can't die. You get increased current and maximum health, you gain a reduction in damage taken, and you gain an increase in the amount of stagger damage that you stagger. So if you're using your baseline 35% stagger just by being a Brewmaster, and then you couple that with Iron Skin Brew, which is what you should have up most of the time anyway, you're looking at about 75-80% stagger depending on what talent you chose. So adding this on top of it, just using Fortifying Brew literally puts you at almost 100% stagger. It's ridiculous how much you're staggering. You're not taking any upfront damage, it's all dot damage. So you want to tell me that taking all that dot damage along with reduced damage intake, a higher health pool, and then you want to give me 25% dodge on top of it for 21 seconds? I know that this buff, the 21 seconds, is longer than the actual Fortifying Brew buff, but it's not worth taking. I'm already unkillable with Fortifying Brew active. I don't need extra oomph on top of that. I don't need to make it more powerful. It's already powerful enough. And then on top of that, they decided to make it a 7-minute cooldown. Why would you make the big shield wall thing that Brewmasters have a 7-minute cooldown? I know it's reduced by Keg Smash and Tiger Palm, but still, why would you do that? It's unfathomable why they did that. They were relying so much on the stagger damage and your healing, and it's just ridiculous. You have no real cooldowns. So now that rant is over, these Golden Dragons really just suck. And then you have your Paragon trait over here, which will increase your health like all the other tanks. So my recommended path of progression is to really fill out your entire minor tree and then grabbing these golden dragons last. And I'll tell you which ones to grab first. So my first path that I would take is taking Potent Kick, because what that'll do is it'll increase your Iron Skin Brew duration by 1.5 seconds. Literally, it just makes it easier on you, because Iron Skin Brew is already like kind of hard to come by if you're not like a very like skilled brewmaster, so it's better to just have that increased duration already. Then after that, we could choose more health, or we could choose Breath of Fire doing more damage and then also reducing the target's damage done to us. I would take this one because these two talents are extremely powerful, so we'll take Hot Blooded, and then we'll take over Facepalm. Facepalm, what it does is every time you activate Tiger Palm, you have a 30% chance for it to deal 30% increased damage and reduce the remaining cooldown of your brews by an additional 1 second. So you have a 30% chance to reduce your brew cooldowns by 2 seconds instead of 1 second. I'll take it, that just gives us more uptime on Iron Skin Brew. And then after that, this is arguably one of your most powerful traits. Like, this should be a golden dragon in itself. Obstinate Determination. Gift of the Ox summons an additional healing sphere when your health drops below 35%. So basically, every time that you dip low, so like if you mess up your Iron Skin rotation, or just something hits you, or you take on more mobs by accident, then this is like your safety net. Like, Gift of the Ox heals for a pretty large amount. So you getting one automatically when you get to 35% is amazing. And then if you heal back up above 35% and then drop down below 35% again, it will spawn another one. So if you play with your health pool around 35%, which is still pretty dangerous, but if you play around your health pool at around 35%, you could literally become basically like, you're not going to die because you have all this healing just in your back pocket ready to go. And then on top of that, you have your healers healing you, so there's not really like much to do. And then on top of that, if you haven't used it, you could use your God mode Fortifying Brew cooldown, and then that's just be it. Like, you saved the day. So what more is there to tell you? This is extremely good, so you should probably go for it first. And the reason why I didn't go straight for it right away is because these traits are extremely popular too, and this one is still relatively cheap by the time you get here, so why not take it? Next, I'm going to be taking Obsidian Fists. I know this is a DPS trait, and we could be taking a DPS damage reduction trait, but this one, Overflow, is extremely awesome too, because every time Gift of the Ox generates a healing sphere, which you're going to be generating more anyway if you drop below 35% health, you have a 15% chance for it to generate a greater healing sphere that heals for twice as much. So not only can this heal twice as much, but you have a passive where, equal to your crit chance, you have a chance to receive double the amount of healing. So HOTS, like Rejuvenation, is going to be extremely good for healing a Brewmaster, but then you could have a chance that when your Gift of the Ox orb spawns, even if it's a normal one, you have a chance to double that healing because of your passive that you get for being a Brewmaster. So coupled with this, if you have a greater healing sphere and then that also procs with the double heal from your crit chance, that just makes it like a quadruple heal on your Gift of the Ox orb. So like, why not take it? This is extremely potent too. Like, these two should be golden dragons, but that would mean 2 golden dragons on like Gift of the Ox orb gameplay, and I guess that's not thrilling, but I would take that any day over Brew Stash and Fortification. Like, it's dumb. So the next one that we're going to be taking is Blackout Strike, because Blackout Strike literally comes off every 3 seconds. Like, you're almost stripped for globals while playing a Brewmaster, so every 3 seconds, you can reduce the enemy's auto attack against you by 6%. That sounds good to me. Like, every 3 seconds, think about it. That's good. That's every other boss swing. After that, we could take Keg Smash. Like, this one, I will feel like is more up to you. Like, Keg Smash will increase the range by 10 yards, making it, I believe, a 15-yard range. So you can pull those mobs that come in, a group of mobs. You don't actually have to go over there and, like, rushing Jadewin or something. You could just throw your keg and be fine. It's just cooldown. Like, you want to be using Keg Smash on cooldown anyway, so if a new mob pack comes, or you want to pull a different group and that's on cooldown, you still have to walk over there. So that's why I wouldn't recommend taking this, but this is all up to you because they're both equally good in my opinion. I would take the 3% increased maximum health because, like I've said in all the other videos, having more health is always good as a tank, but this one offers a lot of utility, so this one's your call. After that, if you do take maximum health by 3%, I would recommend taking Swift as a Coursing River, because that means that every time you activate Fortifying Brew, Purifying Brew, or Iron Skin Brew, which is basically all the time, it'll increase your movement speed by 6% for 15 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So essentially, if you're playing your Brewmaster correctly, you have a 30% increased movement speed for basically the entire fight. That's why I didn't go right away for Smashed and increasing the range of Keg Smash, because you could already move faster, and then you have your 2 charges of Roll, which you can make Chi Torpedo if you want the extra distance. You have Tiger's Lust, and then also you have your Teleport, so you have a ton of mobility already. I don't think that you really need to do this, and having this baseline is like a mini Tiger's Lust at all times, so like why not take it? It's great. Like there's so many good minor traits here that should be Golden Dragons instead, but they kind of folded on this one. And then after that, I would definitely be taking Smashed just to get that extra utility. And then after that, instead of taking Staggering Around, this one that we left over here, Gifted Student, we're going to be increasing our crit strike by 3% for we gain 3% critical strike chance for 3 seconds after dodging or healing from Gift of the Ox. Okay, I kind of read that weird. But that means that every time you dodge, which is going to be guaranteed by your mastery eventually, so you are going to dodge an attack, and then every time you heal with the Gift of the Ox, you gain 3% crit strike. So that just further increases your damage output, first of all. And then second, that chance for you to receive double healing every time you receive a heal. So it's pretty good, but it's not great. That's why I left it mostly for last. And then after that, we're going to be taking Staggering Around just to finish off, and then we could finally grab our 3 Golden Dragons. Now, in terms of survivability, if you feel like you're still taking too much damage, I'll go for Brew Stash, because it does give you that 10% dodge for 1 boss swing, and you're going to be using Purifying Brew and Iron Skin Brew a lot anyway, so that's a good option. If you feel like you want more DPS, you can then take Dragonfire Brew, because more DPS is always more DPS, plus getting more Dragonfires, like Breath of Fires out, will give you more benefit of Hot Blooded, which is already going to give you more fire damage and then also reduce the target's damage done to you, so that's good anyway. But either way, I would probably take Brew Stash first, then go for Dragonfire Brew, and then finally take Fortification, which is, I think, by far the worst Golden Dragon that they've created. After that, you can drop all your points into Wanderer's Hardiness, which will increase your health by up to 15% once you put all 20 ranks in there. And finally, we have maxed out our artifact weapon. And then the relics that I recommend that you use is anything to do with increasing the chance to have your brews reduced by 1 additional second on facepalm. Also, I think you should be using a relic that has to do with increasing the duration of Iron Skin Brew by a whole half second. And remember, you could stack some of these up as long as they're in the right relic slot. You can have like all 3 of them on Iron Skin Brew. So if you want a really long Iron Skin Brew, like I'm talking like if this is 1, 2.5, if you want a 3-second Iron Skin Brew, you can have a 3-second Iron Skin Brew as long as there's relics to fit those slots that activate for this certain talent. So that's if you want. I think that this one is just as important as having more Iron Skin Brews up, and more Purifying Brews is very important, so you might want to put more into this. But like I said in previous videos, I think having a balanced sort of gameplay is pretty ideal. So I would put 1 into Facepalm, 1 into Potent Kick, and then the last one I believe would be something to do with Overflow, because that'll give you an extra 5% chance for that greater healing sphere to spawn, which just means more healing, like just double healing. So like, why not? It's all good. Another one that I would probably recommend if you don't have any of these is something to do with Breath of Fire, which will increase your fire damage by, look, you see 100%, that doubles the Breath of Fire damage by the periodic burning effect. So that's good to hear. And then also reduces the target's damage done to you by an additional 2%, making it a total of 8%. If there's any more that I missed over, you can get the 1% increased health here that you see. But like I said in the previous video, the Guardian Druid video, it's only 1% health, so maybe wasting a whole relic slot isn't that good if that's what you consider. But if it does have more item levels, probably you might want to go for that. If not, then I believe there's one for this, for Blackout Strike. You can reduce the target's next auto attack against you by 8%, and remember, it's coming off every 3 seconds, so that means every other boss attack you can reduce by 8%. That's pretty powerful too, although I think the one having to do with Overflow, Potent Kick, and Facepalm are going to be the most powerful ones that you can choose. And with that, that just about wraps up the video. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was a much longer video than the other two were before, and I'm sorry about that, but I did have a lot of strong opinions about the certain way to go about leveling up your artifact weapon, so please forgive me on that. But anyway, if you guys liked it, leave a like down below, leave a comment down below about what you guys thought, and please subscribe to me because there's going to be more content coming soon. I'm thinking of doing like a talent build, like certain talent builds that you'd want to do in certain situations when you're dungeoning or tanking and other stuff like that. So also, if you guys haven't yet, I did the Guardian Druid artifact weapon video, and I also did the Vengeance Demon Hunter weapon video. So if you haven't checked that out, please go click the links in the description or the annotations on screen, and they'll be there for you guys to watch. So thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.